Hey guys, it is Boring Lauren here, and today I am going to be giving you tips on how to become a photographer. First, I'm going to start out personally. When I first started, I was super discouraged. I started off with minimal gear, I just started off on auto like everybody else does. The first thing that I want to say is do not stress about gear. Early on, it's not important for you to have the biggest and baddest equipment. It's something to look forward to later once you know what you're doing. But pro gear with a beginner photographer isn't gonna do you the best of good. Also, it's super expensive anyway, so you don't want to go splurging and then you realize, oh, I don't want to do this. Even though cameras have amazing resale, you don't want to buy something that you're not gonna keep. For example, when I first started photography, I basically started out with this guy, and it served its purpose. It let me know that this is what I wanted to do. It has manual settings, even though when I first started, I didn't use the manual settings. I was just point and shoot without direction. This is what I started off with. It's a Pentax, I don't even remember, a Pentax Q. It's super small, I don't know, I have a really small hand. It's the size of my hand, I can hold it in one hand. This is what I started off with. And then from that, I moved on to a Canon T3, which is like the intermediate, not even beginner level DSLRs. And now I own a Canon 6D. It's huge. I love it to death. It's a great camera. I've had it for about 2 years, I believe. It's still holding up pretty well. It's a full frame DSLR. It's like the step down from the 5Ds. So yeah, you can take excellent photos with trash gear because it's about the photographer, not the gear, if you understand what I'm saying. Composition, exposure, intent, those are very important things. So keep that in mind. Don't be discouraged when you see these people with hefty gear, like they're farther along, they've been doing this longer. Usually YouTube is your best friend. I can't tell you how much stuff that I learned from just being on YouTube, listening to other photographers. If you get exposure to photography, you'll understand it so much more. Follow Instagrammers that are photographers. Subscribe to YouTube channels that are about photography. Take a class if you want to. I actually took an online class and I learned so much from it. Photography is not as difficult as it seems. But don't just watch videos, you can look things up. There's so much stuff I had to look up to understand. Talk to other photographers, link with other photographers, go out and take pictures with other photographers, learn from the people around you. Most people in the photography industry are very friendly people. They love to teach other people, and it's very easy to find people that are willing to help you. Camera brands are based on preference. Anybody that says Canon is better than Nikon, or Nikon is better than Canon, or Pentax is better than, it's preference. All the camera brands focus on different things. For example, I know that Nikon, they usually have a lot bigger megapixels than Canon cameras do. So it doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other. It's literally just your preference. They're both great. I touched on this a little bit, but the most important thing I would say about photography is composition, and that's how you take the photos. Think of trying to take pictures of things in interesting ways, in ways that people don't take pictures of it. For example, there's a main rule in photography that's called rule of thirds. And that means that you don't want to always put your subject right in the middle of the camera. For example, if you put your camera on the live view mode, like if you have a DSLR, there will be grids on it. And along those grids are the lines that people base rule of thirds on. You want to use interesting composition. Try to photograph things in the most interesting way possible to make people look at things differently. Don't get discouraged, get inspired. This is a big thing that I'm about. For example, if you see a photographer that's doing a lot better than you, or you wish that your photos look like that, just use that as momentum to get you where you need to be. So follow a bunch of Instagrammers that are better at taking photos than you. There's always gonna be somebody better than you. Keep your head up, keep looking forward. You're only gonna get better. The more you take your camera out, the better you're gonna get. The more you look at photography, the better you're gonna get. The more you study photography, the better you're gonna get. Practice makes perfect. Try when you're first starting out, try to take your camera all over the place because you may see interesting things. Also, you can buy photography books. I have this book that has 500 different assignments that you can do for photography, And there's one where it tells you like go out and just observe, go take a walk, observe without your camera, and just take everything in, and then go back and photograph something that you saw was interesting. Really, what photography is being very observant. It's about looking at the world and understanding it, and then taking photos of what you think is worthy of taking a photo of, and making it interesting. Being observant is a big part of being a photographer. Give yourself time to grow. You won't be an amazing photographer overnight, but give yourself that time. You need time to grow. You're not just gonna be like, oh, I'm the best of the best, yada, yada, yada. The last thing that I'm gonna say is take pictures for you. Take pictures that you find exciting or interesting, not for other people. So don't try to just be trying to impress people. Photography is about your interpretation, you as an artist. Let that flow through you. So those are just some of the tips that I have, and through some of the experiences that I had being discouraged and feeling inadequate or unprepared to be a photographer. But it's really something that's really fun to do. It's a great hobby, and I think everybody should try it. Also, there's a point that I missed that was so important. You do not have to go out and buy a big DSLR. You have basically a DSLR in your pocket. You want to know what it is? This baby. These phones are getting better and better at taking photos. iPhone 7 is supposed to be pretty dope. So literally, I believe there's apps that let you like change exposure and stuff. But also, if you're just starting out, it's okay to shoot on auto. Don't let people discourage you like, oh, if you shoot auto, you suck. If you don't know what you're doing, shooting auto helps you understand composition. iPhones, if you just use the phone, it's more or less about composition because you can't really adjust lighting until after you take the photo. So, those are just some of the tips I had. I hope I helped some people out that wanted to start, taking photos and stuff. But yeah, so bye.